Hey guys, welcome back. I know I've been cranking out some battle reports here because I've waited a very long time to do battle reports. I've had this channel I think for like 3 or 4 years and I've only done a few battle reports up until this last week. I think I've done quite a few actually. I lost count. But I got another game of Crossfire set up, and this time you may be able to tell it looks a little bit jungly. So we are going over to the Pacific Theater, and we are going to have a fight against, or fight with the USMC versus the Japanese Army. And being a former soldier myself, I have a lot of jokes about Marines. I mean, I have a lot, and they are funny, very funny. But today, being the Marine Corps' birthday, I will resist any jokes about my brethren, and I will digress at that point. So, what we have down here, like I said, it's a nice little jungle setup. I'm still building and basing some more of my gum trees and eucalyptus trees, which look very suitable for this jungle environment, as well as a couple more palm groves. But they are A, expensive to do, and B, expensive to do. So I am slowly building up my Pacific tree collection to where I can have a battlefield pretty much filled with trees. So in the meantime, I'll have to substitute some of these bright green bushes and some other stuff, lichen and lichen, whatever you call it, and a couple other things around here. So we can go. I do like my trees though. We can see them here. Let me get that focus in. And you can see they are very nice looking trees. I do need to add some grass onto those tree bases there. And I think that'll add even more effect to it. So anyway, let's take a look at the battlefield here. It is, once again, I cut about 2 feet off the side here. Normally I play on a 6x5 table. But for Crossfire, hey kitty, how you doing, baby girl? But for Crossfire, I decreased the size of the table a little bit. So I'm playing on about a 4 foot by 5 foot table. It's 4 foot wide, 5 foot in length, so we're fighting the long way. I was really thinking about fighting it the short way, so it would be wider than it is longer. But I don't know why I decided to go this way. I think just the way the hills were set up, I think it matched better this way, and I wasn't going to redo the table at that point. So anyway, let's take a look at the terrain. So we have some jungle looking bushes here. These were actually out of an aquarium pack that I cut up and shredded and did the Wargamer thing too. So now they're jungle bushes somewhere on a Pacific island. We do have 2 streams going down, one off of each off of each table edge, and they're almost meeting right there in the middle. But we do have 2 main hills in this battlefield. The first one is right here, and it has a little cliff edge right here as well that's impassable. You cannot go up that way. But you can get on that cliff from the opposite direction. So that is the main hill. You can see from the elevation it is pretty big. It's about 1.5 feet long there and maybe about 9 inches wide. So it's a pretty big hill. The other hill on the battlefield is over in the Japanese corner, and it's right here. It's a much smaller hill, but it still has some good elevation gain to it. And we'll talk about those forces that are deployed there in just a moment. So those are the 2 hills. We do have kind of a cliff structure here, a smaller hill with cliffs right behind the main hill. And then we have another similar looking cliff. It's a little bit bigger though, right here. And it actually has a pathway up and over right in the middle there. Each of the edges are impassable, except this edge. This edge they can get up there. That would be fine. So yeah, those are the biggest elevation changes on the map. Excuse me. And then of course we have the jungle down here right in the middle of the map. We have tree bases everywhere, and those will block line of sight through the base itself. You can see into the tree base. You just can't see on the other side of it. These little patches, we can see one. There's a much larger one there. There is one back there behind the palm grove, and there's one right here. And this is a different, but it's going to count as the same type of terrain. So this is basically rough ground. It does not block line of sight, except this one may, because there's large rocky outcrops on it. So if you have a miniature that's behind that, and on the other side of that terrain, then it very well may block line of sight. But for the most part, these in general, these do not block line of sight, but they will provide cover to a unit in or on the other side of them if you are shooting at a unit in or on the other side of one of those. So they're basically a rough ground type of area. You can see a lot of them have, you know, little rocky outcrops on them, minor changes in elevation, tree stumps, stuff like that. So yes, those do provide cover. And then we have one of my favorite pieces of terrain that I need to do more of. We have a palm grove right here with some jungle palms on it, and that will also count the same as one of these jungle stands. Basically, you can see into it. Units into it receive cover, but units on the opposite side of it cannot be seen. It's basically a line of sight blocker. So these bushes, depending on the size, it looks like the majority of them, if not all of them, these bushes do block line of sight. So that takes care of that. This lichen here along the riverbanks and randomly placed other places does not block line of sight, but it does provide cover. And I think that pretty much covers the layout of this table in the Pacific. And now we can take a look at the forces. Well, the attackers are going to be the USMC. And right here we have a buffalo that originally I was going to use in this battle. Let me see if I can get that focus in. Come on, focus. There we go. So originally I was going to use this buffalo, but then I decided that might be weighing it a little too much in favor of the Marines. So it got hit by a landmine, or it ran over a landmine, and it's now a burning wreck. So I was going to take it off the table, but I figured why the heck not? Why not just leave it right there as it is as a nifty piece of scenery. So yeah, no buffalo for the Marines today. So we do have the CNC somewhere, the company commander. And just like the 8th Army versus Afrika Korps, it's going to be one company versus one company. We're starting off small before we add more companies and vehicles and tanks and bunkers and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So here is the company commander, and you can see him right there pointing on the front of the stand there. And he has a radio operator with him, as well as another NCO, probably a runner for him. And he is also in command of, I forgot. I took the HMG and I attached the heavy machine gun to a separate platoon. So one of the platoons has an HMG, a little bit different from last game. So we'll go ahead and talk about the rest while we're here. So we do have the first platoon here that is surrounding the company commander. And there is the platoon commander. Let me see if I can get this focus in here real quick. That's a little better. And so he has 1 squad, 2 squad, and 3 squad. And they are ready to advance straight up the pipe there into the danger zone. We do have a mortar here. So yes, we do have a support weapon. And it is, I can't remember the size of that mortar. I'll have to look it up. But regardless, there's a Marine Corps mortar there, and his forward observer is just on the other side of those bushes right there. He is right there, and he is hidden as of right now. So he doesn't have to be worried about being shot at or anything like that unless he moves, and he's no longer hidden. And then we go to 2nd Platoon, and 2nd Platoon is right here in this area, and there is the platoon commander right there. and he has 1 squad, 2 squad, 3 squad, and his HMG, the 30 cal, water-cooled 30 cal. And yeah, that HMG is attached to 2nd platoon. So all the way over on the other side in this trailhead, this little footpath going through the jungle, we have 3rd platoon, and they are pretty well camouflaged in here, but you can see a couple of the Marines without their shirts on. We have the platoon commander right here. We have 1 squad, 2 squad, and 3 squads straight in a line there, kind of winding their way in that path there. So that is the entire company. We could call it K Company if we wanted to do some Pacific, the HBO series. Great series, by the way. If you haven't seen it, I would highly recommend it. It's wonderful. It's the Pacific version of Band of Brothers. So we can go ahead and take a look at the Japanese forces, and we'll start off with the company commander. And the company commander is at the base of this hill down here. If I can get it to focus, let's see, there we go. So there's the company commander, and you can see he does have a standard bearer, which was quite common for Japanese, but I just haven't put the flag on there yet. I guess I probably should eventually. But yeah, so there is the company commander. He does have an HMG at the midway point on that hill elevation overlooking. He's kind of in some dead brush, waiting to light up some Americans. And then in this rough ground, we have some almost butt-naked Japanese Banzai soldiers. So we have the platoon commander here, and then the 3 squads in this rough area. So the platoon commander, you will see, is he is wearing his clothes. I can't get it to focus if I'm just holding my hand. You know what? Let me set this up on the tripod. All I got to do is spread the legs out. But anyway, so that platoon commander is wearing his clothes, which I do have a Japanese army individually based for chain of command and bolt action. And I had to custom mod. I had to mod and chop up one of those naked soldiers and put a katana in his hand and everything else. So I do have a naked commander as well. But the thing is he is on, come on, focus for me, please. Pretty please. Oh, my phone's not liking me today. Anyway, so, but he's on a circular base, a little 15 millimeter circle base from Litco. So I didn't want to use him because he would stand out, and I do have a couple circle bases involved in action today, and I wanted to make those easy to identify. So that platoon commander is wearing clothes. The 2nd platoon is down here in this rocky outcrop and in this rough ground, and there's the platoon commander right there. He has a squad right behind the riverbank. He has a squad right there and another squad up top there. Let me make sure that's on camera. So yeah, that's the Japanese here. Let me see if I can get one of these stands to focus in so you can get a close-up of the Japanese. Come on. Nope. Not going to. Not today. There we go. So yeah, there's the Japanese. I think they came out really well. I had to blend that uniform color. I don't remember what specific army painters I used to blend. I have it wrote down so I don't forget, or so, you know, I can't forget. But yeah, these were fun to paint, I guess. And then we have the 3rd platoon, which is over here on and behind this major hill. So this platoon actually has some knee mortars attached to it, and this is the knee mortar squad. They're up on top of the hill already. You know what? I give up on the focus today. I'm not even going to bother with it. So they have the knee mortar squad here. They have 1 squad there. And then the platoon commander is down here on top of this little cliff behind the hill. We have his 3rd squad there, or the 2nd squad there, 3rd squad there. 1st squad is up top on the hill, and then the knee mortar there. So they have a support weapon attached to them as well. So we're slowly working our way up to more advanced features. And then we have a Japanese foot gun down here. I can't remember the size of the gun. I'll have to look it up. But I think it was like a 38 millimeter foot gun or something like that. Come on. This is killing me. So, there we go. Anyway, Japanese foot gun. Ready to blast away. And he is down there in the Palm Grove, waiting to see some Americans. We also have two snipers, two Japanese snipers on the board, so we'll get to see how snipers work. The first is behind this cliff right here, so he cannot be seen from this direction, but he has a pretty good field of view going off into the jungle area there. So he is an individually based sniper. And then we have one more sniper stand, which is on a bit bigger base, still a circle stand though, and he is right here, overlooking that area where the Marine Corps is getting ready to shoot down the pipe. So yeah, there is the second sniper stand and his spotter. So that is the forces that will be involved in this game. Yeah, I'm excited to do it, so we'll get it cracking. Before we start off here, I did want to touch base on a few things here. Number one is in the last battle report, I was doing group firing incorrectly. Not too much. I mean, I don't think I did it incorrectly. I think I explained it incorrectly. And I didn't get a chance also to explain crossfire activations, which is the third form of firing. So there will likely be some crossfire activations in here. And at some point when a group fire activation takes place, I will explain that more clearly. In the meantime, we can go ahead and start this off now. So with the Marine Corps being the attackers, they are going to get first turn in this scenario. And who's going to move here? Let's see. So this platoon, I think, is going to advance. Oh, I also wanted to say, in the Marine Corps orders of battle in a company, each platoon should have a 60 millimeter mortar attached to it. But we are not going to do that. We're going to say that they lost their mortars or something, or their ship was sank before. Well, they would have carried the mortars on. They would have landed with their mortars. So I don't know. Something happened to the mortars, and they only have one. So the company commander has decided to take that into his control, basically. So that is one difference. So the other difference is it's the same thing with the Japanese. Each platoon should have a knee mortar squad. And I do have the miniatures for these. We could be doing that. However, I wanted to keep it simple. I don't want to add too much at once because I'm still trying to get reaccustomed to the rules here, and I want to get things right one by one. And as we get things down to a T, then we will start adding new things, or more things, I should say. So that is the difference. So anyway, we are going to move some soldiers, some Marines, I should say, not soldiers. So we're going to do a activation here and rotate all of them. The Japanese player is not going to fire as of yet, and the only unit that really has LOS on them is the knee mortar squad. And that's another thing. So all Japanese units, I didn't say this, but all Japanese units in this game are starting off hidden. So we can't see any units unless we recon by fire to reveal them. So we are going to turn here and advance to, well, first we need to enter this terrain. So we would move there, and that's as far as they can get. The knee mortar is not going to shoot as of yet, even though he has LOS. And now we are going to issue another platoon activation, another group activation, and we are going to move this platoon up to here. So we go there and stop. So the knee mortar is going to start dropping some bombs, or at least trying to, dropping some shells on this squad right here. And a knee mortar only gets 2d6. So, but if they get a suppression, then it's suppressed. If the squad was already suppressed and we rolled another suppression, it would be killed. And then there is a kill factor to support weapons such as mortars. The kill factor for a knee mortar is 2, which means if you kill a unit with a knee mortar, any enemy squadrons within 2 base widths of that unit that just got killed become suppressed. So that is the kill rating for a Japanese knee mortar. Now the problem is they only roll 2d6, so it's really hard. You have to target a suppressed unit to have the potential to get a kill. But anyway, we're going to roll 2d6 here, and we rolled a 6 and a 2, so that unit is pinned. Oh, all my markers are over on the other side of the table, of course. I'm just going to grab a handful so I don't have to keep on running all over and wasting everybody's time. So this unit is pinned. The knee mortar still has firing capability, but he only has 12 fire missions. So, and that mortar is not indirect fire. It is direct fire, but they still only have 12 ammo. They can fire indirectly, I believe, but they got to have a forward observer. They do not have one, so these knee mortars can only fire directly, and they're down to 11 ammo. Now, we have to continue this move, so this unit is going to move there. This unit is going to move there, and that knee mortar is, yeah, we're going to take another shot at this one. We don't have to stop the movement because we know it was a group activation, so everybody's going to move up regardless, so we'll just move everybody up here. Now, the knee mortar is going to take another shot here, and that's going to take him down to 10 fire missions left, and we rolled a 4 and a 2, which is a miss, so we put a no fire marker on the Japanese knee mortars up there on top of the hill, and they can no longer fire during the U.S. Marine Corps' activation. So, since we know that there is no more units that can see us, we're going to activate, and they can't move, but we are going to turn them and turn them, rotate, so now they are within a line of fire, field of fire, and we are going to not try and rally that unit with the pin yet. We could, it'll be a 3, 4, 5, or 6, and if not, our turn would be over, but the Japanese probably aren't going to be doing, yeah, we'll just try and take off the pin right now. So 4, 5, and 6, but it's a +1 platoon commander, so it's a 3, 4, 5, or 6, and we rolled a 1, so we failed to rally. The U.S. turn is over, so now that it's the end of the initiative, we can take off that no fire marker. That unit is no longer hidden, so what do they want to do? Well, they might seriously consider trying to withdraw here, but their platoon commander is saying no, 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 no. So 45 degree from the center point, yeah, is there. Technically, he probably shouldn't have been able to get a shot off there because his arc of fire is there, but that's okay. We're going to fix that right now. We're going to rotate and stop right there because this squadron down here, the middle Marine squadron, this one, is going to shoot as reaction fire because that Japanese mortar squad just moved when it rotated. So 3d6, it is in cover, and we are going to shoot both. 2d6. And we rolled a 4 and a 3, so no hit there. We marked that unit with a no fire, can no longer fire this activation. And does the Japanese player want to activate any more units? I don't know. Does that artillery gun have a line of sight? By the way, it's a 65 millimeter infantry gun. So does this gun right here have a line of sight anywhere? Let's see. It possibly could. Yeah, it would have a line of sight down here to... let me see if I can get this on camera here. Come on, tripod. My tripod is not going to cooperate. I think that got some view, but he does have a line of sight to that Marine squadron. The problem is it's not in his firing arc. So that unit, that gun is going to remain hidden at this time. And the Japanese player is now going to pass on his activation. So now we get to go ahead and go back over here to the Marine Corps, and they are going to start off their initiative turn. This tripod. I got to get a new tripod. I also got to get a microphone, a cordless microphone that I can clip on my collar, and I think that'll fix the low voice issues that I've been having in my recent videos here. It's a new phone, and for some reason it just doesn't pick up the audio like the old one used to. The old one, man, it sounded like I was breathing all heavy. Like every breath I took, you could hear crystal clear. It was really annoying. And this one's like the exact opposite end of the spectrum. Like I have to practically yell to make sure that you guys can understand what I'm saying at this point. So yeah, a microphone is on the list of things to buy, as well as a new tripod and maybe even some more lighting. So actually, yeah, some more lighting eventually. But anyway, let's go over to this side of the battlefield here and take a look at what we want to do. So we are going to activate this platoon, and the first thing we're going to do is move. We're going to do individual squadrons here. So this squadron is going to move right up to the riverbank because you can't cross a terrain feature in one activation. It has to be done in two. So they are going to go there. And stop. Yes. Better get it in now. So this Japanese sniper right here is going to shoot at them. And the Japanese sniper is going to get 3d6, and then it disappears no matter what. The sniper is removed from the game. So there is one question about the rules I have. So if any veteran Crossfire players know, that would be great. So hidden units, once they do reaction fire, they get an extra die in their attack. So, but it only specifies squadrons or HMGs. It doesn't specify whether or not snipers would get this bonus. I mean, snipers are hidden regardless up until the point that they do fire. So, and it says they get 3 dice. So I'm assuming it already knows that they're ambushing and they're still only going to get 3 dice. So I'm going to roll with it as they get 3d6 on this shot, and they are going to shoot at that Marine Corps squadron who is at that stream. And we are going to roll, and we rolled a 3, a 1, and a 1, and that is a complete miss on the part of the sniper. That sniper is now removed from the game. So that's one sniper that we don't have to worry about. Excuse me. And let's see, does anybody else have a line of fire on them? Not at this point, but in about 2 more steps they will. So we are going to move. We're going to activate this squadron. First we're going to rotate it. And then we're going to go right up to the river feature there. Nobody's firing. The HMG is now going to try and get a crate. He's already at the river, so he can enter it and has to stop upon entering it. Is anybody going to shoot at him? Not yet. He's going to now attempt to get to this cover here and stop. As soon as he comes out of that stream, we have this Japanese Banzai squadron right here who has line of sight to him, and we are going to go ahead and take some shots here. He is shooting through this patch of rough ground. Remember, I said it does not block line of sight, but it does provide cover to anybody on the other side or in it. So that Japanese squadron only gets 2d6, 2d6, rolling, double 1, snake eyes, no hit, we put a no fire marker on that squadron so he can no longer fire. And now he is going to move up to that terrain feature and has to stop. That's as far as he can move. And now he can activate again. He's going to go into that terrain feature. And at this point, the second Japanese squadron right here is going to, does he have line? Oh, barely. He's barely in his firing arc, but it is a go. So he's going to get 2 die to shoot with. And he rolls a 3 and a 1, so that's a miss, and that squadron will be marked no fire. So we have 2 Japanese squadrons there that are marked with no fire. And you know what? Before we do that, I forgot they were ambushing, so both of them are going to get another shot at here. So we'll do the first one when he was back there, rolled a 4, that was nothing. And now the second one when he's right here is a 1, so that's nothing. So thankfully it didn't affect the game at all, and it had no effect. So they still would have been marked with no fire, and that machine gun did make it up. Next, that machine gun is going to move just to the edge of that rough ground, and now he is going to hold his position right there for the time being. Now he's out of line of sight of the platoon commander down here with that final move. So we're definitely going to have to move up the platoon commander. So the platoon commander is going to rotate and now move right there. You know what? Before we do that, hold on just a second. We're going to issue an order for this unit to go up on top of the hill right there. And he just entered it. And now he has to stop. And now he can activate again. So turning here. And there is one thing we want to touch base on here, because this unit back here cannot fire at that squadron up on top of the hill, because he cannot fire through a friendly unit. So he has no firing solution right now. So that squadron is going to move there. And this platoon commander is going to rotate, move here, rotate again, and move there, and that way he has line of sight on all of his squadrons. Oops, excuse me, I forgot to change the camera here. So the platoon commander that was down here basically went up right here to this hilltop. Very camouflaged on top of that hill. So now we can go ahead and continue moving these guys across the stream there. We are going to activate and enter the stream and now cross it with a second activation. So here, and now we are going to rotate and go here. This squadron right here is going to cross the river, so he's going to enter it and now has to stop. And now he's going to make another activation, and he is going to simply go right here as a rear guard for the rest of the platoon that is now advancing in that HMG. So we're going to leave it right there as it is for the time being. And now we are going to come to first platoon, which is down here. What do we want to do with the forward observer? That's a good question as of this time. So let's handle the rest of the squadron first, or the rest of the platoon, first platoon. And we are going to do a group activation, and we are going to move them up to these woods right here. So we are going to go right here and stop. So he's going to stop right there because there is a Japanese sniper right here, and that sniper is going to take shots. He's going to get 3d6, and he rolls a 4, a 2, and a 2, so that is no hits either. So we remove that sniper from the game. And that was the last Japanese sniper, although the Americans don't know that, and the Japanese seem to be rolling atrociously. Now we need to finish this group move. So the platoon commander will move up right here. This squadron will move right here. And this squadron has to, couldn't do a group move because I don't think they were within line of sight, but he would have had to rotate first, and then he can come out here. So Yeah, there we go. That's a group activation there. And do we want to enter the woods? Of course we do. So this squad or this platoon is going to enter those woods as a group move to the edge and stop. So the infantry gun up there in the palm grove, let me get to a position to where maybe you can see the gun. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. So the infantry gun right here is going to fire at that squadron that just went in there. And it's a 65mm infantry gun, so it's going to get 3 dice on the attack. And we are going to roll. That infantry gun is going to have ambush, so it's down from, it goes from 3 to 2 because of the cover that the Marine Corps are in. They're in that jungle. And they're going to get a 3rd back for ambush status. So 3d6. And we just rolled a, let me see where I can put these, a 2, I don't know if you can see those, a 6, and a 6. So somebody on the Japanese did something right. That infantry gun just suppressed that first squadron of the Marine Corps up here, so I'll mark him as suppressed. I know that jungle is in the way there, but now you can see him from this angle. So, and as you may remember, a suppression is an initiative killer. So the Marine Corps' turn just ended, and now we'll go to the Japanese turn. Really quickly, before I forget, and this is exactly why I didn't want to throw too much stuff, too many heavy weapons in here right off the get-go, because I want to make sure, like I said, I'm refreshing myself after a long hiatus of Crossfire. So I did a group activation with these guys. So even though that squad was suppressed, we still finish our group movement into the woods here. So he's going to be stopped, and because there is not a no fire marker on the Japanese gun right here, he is also going to take a shot at that squad. He is in firing arc, so 3d6, taken down to 2d6 because he's no longer ambushing. So 2d6, and that one's cocked, and he rolls a 4 and a 1, so that is a no hit. So that Japanese unit would be marked with no fire. I'm not going to mark him because it's just going to come right off in just a moment. So that 3rd squad is going to move up, and the platoon commander is also going to move up there. And now that whole platoon is in that jungle feature right there, almost directly in the center of the table. So now it would be the Japanese player turn. So we're going to remove all the no fire markers, specifically off of these 2 squads over here. And there we go. Now there's no fire markers on them. Now what do we want to do first? Well, we want to do some shooty probably. Let's see here. What do we want to do? Good question. So, and by the way, that infantry gun has 10 firing missions left, as well as the knee mortar also has 10 fire missions left. Move, shoot. Let's shoot with this HMG right here on the hill, because this HMG has a line of fire. Let me see here. So this one right here, this HMG on the midway point on that hill, has a line of fire from here to those 2 squads, the other HMG, the enemy HMG, the Marine Corps HMG, as well as that infantry squad. So normally you can't fire through a unit, but I'm saying since he's so high up on that elevation, he can shoot over friendly units. I don't know if that's correct. That's something that I will have to look up. So this HMG right here is going to now fire. Now HMGs get 4 dice, and this is not a reaction fire, so it's not ambush. So that unit is in cover, so the HMG is only going to get 3 dice, and he's going to fire at the Marine Corps 30 cal which is this unit right here. So he's going to roll 3d6 because it's -1 because his target's in cover. And he rolled 2 5s and a 2. Whoa, that was really close. So 2 5s and a 2. The Marine machine gun is suppressed, and the Japanese turn can continue. So now we are going to go ahead and think of what we're going to do next. I mean, that HMG could continue shooting. It could keep shooting at that squad now. And it's a pretty good solution. However, now's the time for a crossfire. We're going to declare crossfire, and we have 3 units right here. 1, 2, 3. Now, normally, this is what I didn't explain last time. So if you do a group fire, you have to declare a fire leader, which is one of your squads. So let's say this is a fire leader. So any squads within one base width of him can also fire at the same target as long as they're they both have him in line of sight. So that does not require a platoon commander. Now the difference in crossfire is these 3 platoons could be spread across, they could be spread across multiple terrain features, whatever, as long as they each have line of sight at the target, and the platoon commander has line of sight at the target and line of sight to each of the squadrons involved. So that's how that would work. The platoon commander has line of sight to that infantry squadron right here, and all 3 of these squadrons also do. And this squadron back here, he is not firing through a friendly unit, so he can shoot as well. However, they are all taken down to 2 dice, so it's only going to be a total of 6 dice for those 3 squads, when normally it would be 9 dice if they were shooting at a unit in the open or something like that. So yeah, they're going to roll 6d6, and here's another thing that I said. So last game, this I did get wrong. So when you're doing a group fire or a crossfire, you roll all the dice at once. I had said that you need to still roll each of the squads individually because it was like a move activation. If you failed with one of the squads, then you were still going to lose initiative, but you could continue finishing the firing with whatever squads were part of that group. So that's incorrect. You roll them all at once, and it doesn't matter if I rolled 10 dice and I only rolled 1 hit. I just saved my initiative because. Well, no, because if you get a pin as the fire, then your initiative's over. So if you got 2 hits, out of 10 die, let's say you had 5 units firing into cover, each of them's 2 die. So you had 5 units shooting, and you only got 2 hits. Obviously, at least 3 of those units didn't roll any hits whatsoever. So normally, your initiative would be over. However, if you're shooting as a group move, or as a group fire, or a crossfire, then you save your activation just by rolling enough for 1 suppression. So a suppression or a kill. So yeah, that's increases your chance of maintaining your initiative if you roll crossfire. So 6 units, or 6d6 are going to shoot right now. And we just rolled a 6, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 3, and a 4. So that's absolutely horrible. For all 3 units firing, they got 1 hit, which is a pin. So that unit's going to be pinned. But now the Japanese player just lost initiative because he needed to at least get a suppression to retain the initiative. So now it's going to be the Marine Corps' turn. All right, very interesting turn here. Let's see, what did I do first? Oh, so I started off with this squadron shooting, and we put a suppression marker down on this Japanese squadron there. So that unit was suppressed. We then sent our platoon commander, which was here, we sent him across the river, and he went into here and rallied the suppression marker off the machine gun and rallied the pin marker off of him. So there was the unit in the rear guard over here that ran up into these woods, but he got pinned by that unit right there, that Japanese unit, so that unit was pinned. And then what else happened here? So We moved the forward observer who was down here somewhere. The forward observer moved right here, so he can now start spotting into that area, and he's just on the ridge line there, so he's got cover on that opposite side of that embankment. Over here, we rallied the single unit that was pinned here, and that whole platoon went up to this ridge line right here, just below the crest of the hill on the other side of these bushes. They did not assault the knee mortars. They just basically formed a firing line and just ripped into them. Got 3 kills out of 6 dice, and that was the end of the knee mortar. So, and then I tried to get slick and move the squadron that was right here across into this area, and he got suppressed by this squadron right here. So he shot into that area and suppressed him. Somebody suppressed this infantry gun. I don't remember who it was, but he also got a no fire marker because he tried to shoot it. Yeah, I think he tried to shoot at him as he crossed first. He missed, got a no fire marker, and then this unit entered that terrain feature, and that's when this squadron shot at him. So, but somebody suppressed that gun. I think it was one of these squads in here. I can't remember who suppressed them, but somebody suppressed that infantry gun, and that's where it's at. So, but with that unit getting suppressed right there, that ended the Marine Corps' turn, and now it is the Japanese player turn. All right, it was a quick activation, but it could have been worse. I mean, they did get a couple things done here. So the first thing they did is the platoon that was down here, they moved up into the palm groves. They did leave this one unit here to kind of guard their flank in case something happens to this platoon over here. But they did move 2 of their squadrons and their platoon commander up into this palm grove to support the infantry gun. I didn't get a chance to try and rally the infantry gun. I didn't want to take the chance because I wanted to get some other things done. However, that infantry unit is still suppressed. That happened on the Marine Corps turn, not on this activation as we talked about earlier. So then we went over here and we fired with this unit into the Marine Corps squadron right here in this tree, behind the tree there. And it was pinned, but we got a suppression on it. So we suppressed that unit that's in those woods there, that jungle. And then our turn continued. I came down here and I thought it would be a good idea to take that HMG and shoot at the Marine Corps 30 cal again right there. Because the last Marine Corps turn, the platoon commander managed to rally off the suppression marker. I was hoping to get another one or even possibly a kill. We didn't, but we got a pin on it at least. But still, that ended the Japanese activation right there with that pin. So you got to get a kill or a suppression to keep your turn going when you shoot. So that's where it is, and now we move to the Marine Corps. Man, mortars for the win, dude. So what did we do? We started off with the mortars, and the 60 millimeter mortar that's off there in the back, his forward observer. Remember I said, I think last turn, his forward observer moved up right there. However, this turn, he started controlling fire. And what he did was, there was a Japanese squadron right here that was already suppressed. And I think he was closer right here. I don't remember where he was. But anyway, he was already suppressed. And the mortar rolled another suppression on him. So that unit was killed. Now, this is the kill zone on that mortar was 1 base width. He was within 1 base width of this unit, so this unit became suppressed. So the mortar killed a unit and suppressed a unit in 1 shot. And then we went ahead and we did, what did we do after that? Oh yes, so we moved up this platoon right here. We moved up this squadron into this rough ground. Let's get that focus in there. So this whole platoon pretty much was all back here in this jungle, and except for them, because they were the ones who got suppressed at the end of their last turn. That's how they lost the initiative. So the rest of the platoon began moving up, this squadron and the platoon leader. This squadron stayed back there because he has the line of sight into the palm grove just where he's at. And he shot at this Japanese squadron right here in the corner and suppressed him. So that Japanese squadron is suppressed. Then we went over here, and this platoon ran up over the hill and assaulted close combat. These guys down here all fired back at him, and I didn't put no fire markers on him because I remembered this whole platoon was scratched on ammunition for that turn. So they stayed where they were at. I was going to continue moving them, but I thought I would take the 30 cal, and because he's only pinned, I thought I would take the 30 cal, which is right here, and shoot at the Japanese HMG right there, and only got a pin. I don't know why there's a red marker there on. I put the wrong token on him, but that's why the Marine Corps activation just ended, because he only got a pin on a Japanese HMG. So now it's the Japanese player's turn. Well, that was a really quick turn. Over here, we fired with this unit right here against this squadron on the edge of the hill who has no cover whatsoever. We rolled 3d6 and we missed with all three of them. So that's it. That's the Japanese player turn. Took about 5 seconds to resolve, and now we are going to go ahead and do the Marine Corps turn. I don't know what their next move is. I mean, they have a lot of options at this point. Pretty much the biggest point of resistance now that's not under control is these two squadrons right here. Yeah, so that's about it. They do still have, oh, I forgot there's still this squadron down here left that's part of this platoon here, so I'll be right back. Okay, well, the Green Marine Corps steamroller has definitely begun here. So they, oh, I didn't get to do anything with them, that's right, so why am I going over here? All the action really happened center of the table and on this side here. So the most action, I think, took place right here, which is, you can see here, is now occupied by the Marines. That suppression marker should be gone. So basically what happened, there was a unit that was suppressed right here, and it was shot at by the HMG, who rolled another suppression on it, so it killed it. And then there was two squadrons over there next to the HMG, and they basically did a charge into this rough ground here. Now the HMG, the Japanese HMG right here, shot reaction fire to shoot at this squadron, and shot at this squadron first. That was the first squadron to go in. Pinned it, so it still maintained fire. The second squad came in, got here, and the HMG tried to suppress it as well and rolled misses, so got a no fire. So this squadron was able to get in close combat with the Japanese squadron that was here, and even though they had a platoon leader with them that should have let them win, they didn't. They lost, so the Marine Corps has won that combat in that rough ground. What happened next was over here. The platoon commander entered in this patch from the jungle, or I think he was back there actually, came into there, rallied off what I think was a suppression off of that squad, did a crossfire between these two squads on the Japanese squad right here that was suppressed, killed it, rolled another suppression on 4d6, rolled 2 5s, so killed that squadron right here. And then we tried to, oh yes, that's what we did. We took this squad and we shot at the infantry gun, hoping to knock that out, and did a miss. So that was the end of the Marine Corps activation. We forgot completely about the mortars. Man, you can't be forgetting about the mortars, especially how good they're doing lately. So yeah, it's a Japanese turn, and they are on the ropes here, man. So yeah. All right. So another brief activation for the Japanese. What did they do? Oh yes, so they fired with this squadron right here that they had in reserve. They fired up here and suppressed that squad right there. And then the remainder of the platoon that was down here did a bonsai charge uphill into the those two stands and lost. So that they just lost that whole platoon, and their activation is over. The Japanese have their suppressed infantry gun here, 2 squadrons there, and their CNC and HMG right here. So, yeah, what else can you do here? I mean, the HMG may be able to, you know, continue some form of resistance, but, you know, the Marine Corps still has a mortar, and I'm pretty sure that that's where the mortar is going to be focusing in on, is there, right there. And the HMG has a line of sight to them as well. The HMG right there. There's a squadron right in front of the HMG in those trees. And there's 2 more squads right here. And that's 2nd platoon right there between here and that jungle. The platoon leader is still back there behind the HMG. And then we have 1st platoon, which is still fully intact. We got 1 squadron, we got 2 squadron, and we got 3 squad back there. Platoon commander right in the middle of them all. And then we have 3rd platoon with all 3 squadrons, only 1 suppressed. So out of the entire Marine Corps force, only 1 squad is suppressed, and then their HMG is pinned. So, you know, at this point I could go on, but I think it's going to be a short turn here, and the Japanese are finished pretty much. So I'm going to call it right here. That's going to be it for the Japanese and the Marine Corps. They got a win on their birthday. Happy birthday, Marines. You guys stay safe, take it easy, and I'll see you on my next video.